With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Purdy Insurance, Brewers Outlet, and Sunbury Motor Company. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Happy Friday, everybody. Brought to you by Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket, imports, domestics, microbrews, the best selection of beer anywhere. Wine coolers, water, soft drink, snacks. They roast their peanuts fresh and out every day. 6 great flavors of slushies. Ready to drink cocktails. High Noon, Jack Daniels, Crown Royal. And the Pickle Bar, led by the Barrels and the Dills, indeed, second to none. All at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. So, first of all, Todd, welcome, my friend.
Hello.
It's great to have you with us.
Great to be here. You have a good game yesterday?
It was fine.
It was a game.
It was fine. Errors. It's always unforced stuff. They gave up a couple runs in an inning where they made 2 errors in a wild pitch. Okay? That's self-inflicted. So you know what I'm talking about.
I was just going to say, I watched a lot of Little League. That sounds like a Little League inning.
Yeah. You're like, come on, guys. All right? Let's find a gear here. But, yeah, it's always enjoyable for me to do any game, and I have a good time doing it, like I always do. But tonight's game is Paul Posluszny's going to be at the game tonight. They're doing a bobblehead giveaway of him tonight, and he's going to be there for a meet and greet, and I think it's going to be cool for the fans. You know?
I can't imagine that won't draw a good crowd as well.
Yeah, but I think, I'm pretty sure that's what they're hoping.
Yeah, I'm sure that was the plan.
They're sitting there going, I got an idea. Okay, what's your idea? Well, we would like to draw a crowd. Very nice. Well done. Yeah. So that is tonight. We're going to have Adam Rittenberg on the show. So there's several items I want to get to. Now, I'm not going to bring up the basketball part with him, but I'm going to address it here on this part. But I'll start with the football part that I will be addressing with him, and that is something you and I have discussed, Todd, and that is Tony Petitti and what he wants to do with the play-in games. And not only that, he doesn't appear to be budging on his opinion. Affectionately now known to every unimaginative media person as doubling down. That seems to be the new like catchphrase. He's doubling down. How many times have we heard that in the last 3 years? Doubling down. It's like hearing the word culture. Culture. All right, I got it. It's like the buzzword. Okay. So he's remaining firm in his opinion. Steadfast. And what he's trying to do, and Adam, I know, did talk to him about this. He doesn't want to be the NFL. But he also knows that pro sports have extended their models So more teams are in the mix because there are more spots available. Thus, that makes the final month of a season more intriguing. In Major League Baseball, there are now 3 wild cards in each league. We are now heading into the final week of July. And in the final week of July, I would say teams 14 through 24 are making decisions right now about whether to be buyers or sellers or stand pat because they're not sure how good they are when it comes to being in the mix. It's a hard decision to make. Are we good enough to get there? Now, before they expanded the playoff, it's not out of the realm that you can come out of that playoff, that play-in, and win. In 2014, the San Francisco Giants won the World Series, beating the Kansas City Royals in 7 games. What both teams had in common was each one had to win the play-in game to keep going. Kansas City beat Oakland, the Giants beat the Pirates. In the NBA, they do the play-in now, 7, 10, 8, 9. Well, 2 years ago in the 8-9 matchup, the Miami Heat won, and they made it all the way to the final before they lost to the Denver Nuggets. In the NFL, they've expanded now to 7 playoff teams in each conference, but the 7 seed has never been competitive with the 2. We're still waiting for that to happen. They've not. I think that's fair to say, right, Todd? The 7 seed has not been competitive in the playoff game against the 2 so far, right?
No.
Yeah. So that's his idea. That doesn't mean we have to agree with the idea, but at least the guy came up with an idea. And he's using a pro sports model with his idea. Now, is it realistic? Is it good for the sport? Is it what? We can debate all of that. But at least he has an idea on the table. And what his idea does do is that out of a 16-team playoff, there'd be 13 automatic bids. 4 Big Ten, 4 SEC, 2 ACC, 2 Big 12, and the group of 5. That means the committee only has to select 3. If you go with a 5-11 model, the committee has to select and seed 11. And that's one area where I think most coaches are unified on. Most coaches seem to not be in favor of the committee. This model does take a good chunk of the committee's effectiveness out of the mix.
What made them so anti-committee?
Well, if you're in the SEC, South Carolina and Alabama didn't make it, and the ACC, Miami didn't make it.
Just my point is the NCAA does every one of its championships by committee. Every single one. I
agree. No, you asked. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. I just mean, just all of a sudden after one season,
they're not enamored with the selection.
I guess.
So we're going to talk to Adam about that because it was, look, Tony doesn't do a lot of media availability. And as I've told you, I'm a little baffled by that because I think on a one-on-one basis, the number of times I've talked to Tony, he's a great guy to talk to. Not a good guy to talk to. He's a great guy to talk to. And you know you're talking to a really smart guy. And so I think when you I always give people credit, even though you're borrowing some ideas from other places, to then formulate your own idea. I always do appreciate people who have the ability to think outside the box. Now, thinking outside the box then allows us to debate an idea that maybe we have not thought of before. But at least we're debating an idea as opposed to status quo. And I think the best leaders are the ones that have the ability to think outside the box and give you something to think about. And then we can debate pro and con. We may say, no, that's not going to work. I'll never forget that I was at Channel 3 years ago here in town, and they came up with an idea. And you know me, in a staff meeting, I don't say much of anything because I just want to get out of there. I need to go back to work. But they brought up this idea, and I knew it wasn't going to work. And so I did speak up, and I said, I don't think that's going to work. Well, what makes you say it's not going to work? And I said, because at one other place, we actually tried this twice, and it didn't work, and here are the reasons why. And we really thought it was going to work, and it turned out it didn't, and I explained why. Okay? But at least somebody came up with an idea. I remember it was Greg Peterson who came up with the idea. And I explained to Greg why it didn't work from practical experience, but at least I was able to outline it because it turned out it was something another group I'd been with had tried. But at least you have the ability to debate it and talk about it. Tony has an idea. Now, 5'11" sounds simple. 5'11" sounds fair. I can tell you right now, in 5'11", you're going to get a lot of, what the hell? How'd they get in? How come they're not in? Now, I realize that in college sports, there are still some that think there's a charm to that. It's amazing how in professional sports, they think there's no charm in that at all.
But when we debate those teams, it's been, well, at least last year it was 2 and 3 lost teams. His plan also opens it up for somebody that's 6 and 5 to get into this thing.
Oh boy, it'd be hard for that to happen though, because it would be based on your conference record. I mean, you would have to be what were there 5 teams last year in the Big Ten, 5 and 3. So you're correct. A team could be 1 and 2. And it's non-con and be 6 and 5. So you are correct. In all likelihood, if you're 5 and 3 in the Big Ten, you probably did pretty well in your non-con. Because you're not a bad team. You're not a great team, but you're not a bad team either. Now, it also depends on your non-conference schedule. But I think that the alleged hook to this is you have some of the biggest brands in college football in your conference, just like the SEC does. And among your big brands, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, USC, okay? I've named nearly a third of the conference that happen to be major league big-time brands. Of those 5, you would think, Todd, that 2 of them would fall into that 3 through 6 category, which would then kick the ratings into another gear. I'm just explaining what the thought process is behind it. Like Illinois would have played Ohio State last year, and Indiana would have played, what, Iowa? So you wouldn't have USC, and you wouldn't have had Michigan.
It is wild once you think about it that Ohio State would have been in that play-in game last year.
I know. And if they hadn't lost to Michigan, Penn State would have.
Yeah.
Penn State would have had a rematch with Illinois. So that's what he's thinking. It at least gives us something to debate and talk about. And I think more thought needs to be put in as to the pros and cons of it. He still wants to play a conference championship game. Okay, I guess. I mean, one of the pros of playing the conference championship game, the negative is you're playing that game right after you've just played a full month, after your bye. The pro is both teams, I think, have the ability to stay sharp because they're playing a game. We can debate that too. Now, as for basketball, I've got some basketball news for you. And on the basketball front, Charlie Baker, the president of the NCAA, made a speech yesterday to the National Press Club, which I believe the suit's a member of. And he always keeps getting memos about fake meetings. I'm just kidding. And when he was asked about expanding the NCAA tournament, and they're supposed to have come out with something early next month, August, about it. And he pointed out to the National Press Club that in all likelihood, it would stay at 68 teams for the upcoming season. Because the logistics are difficult. And in order to expand to 76, you need your ducks in a row. I don't care if you expand to 72 or 76, either one. Okay? You need to have your ducks in a row. The way we do with this show, that's because we have Todd. Thank goodness.
The row's not very straight.
No, we're fine.
It's a row, though.
No, hey, excuse me. Let me praise you. And so what do you mean by logistics, Steve? Number one, I think you need to have your TV deals in place because this cannot be a negative on the balance sheet to play the games. And I don't think you want to break even. You want to at least get a little extra money out of this. Not a ton, but a little extra out of it. So you need to have an agreement with your TV partners. Next, you have to have a second spot to put the games. And in my opinion, it needs to be out of the Eastern time zone. You already have Dayton, safe, entrenched, a city that truly supports the first four. Really, the support in that city is outstanding. So you need to find another Dayton someplace else to put a second group of teams to play 4 games if it's 76. That's 2. And then you have to work out the formatics of it. Right now you're playing 16s and you're playing 11. So obviously if you're going to go to the extra teams, the 16s are going to be part of some of the games. But do you have a couple of 10s play each other? Do you have a couple of 12s play each other? You know what I mean? Just to mix it up a little bit. Get a little higher caliber game in there. So that's what they mean by getting the logistics of it straightened out. You need to get the TV part straightened out. You need to get the location element straightened out. And you need to get the formatics straightened out. They can't do that in this particular year. Also, I think it would be a nice addition to do it starting in 26-27. Why? Because then you're also going to be allowed to go to a 30-second game. You can do it all at once.
I do wonder if the percentages are more A and B there. The money wasn't what they wanted, and they'll figuring out where to play everybody.
I think that, they've been negotiating with the TV people, Todd. So, yeah. I mean, that's been going on, and it sounded like they were having good discussions. But then once you get that, you then have the hurdle to clear about where, and then you have the hurdle to clear about. I mean, this is a multi-layered deal. The TV part's the critical part. You're not going to do something that's going to lose you money because you're already losing money. Your profit is not going to be as great for the upcoming year and for the next 10 years because of the house settlement. Because 40% of the back pay on the house settlement comes out of NCAA distribution. So you're trying to make up for that, if it's possible. And do you talk to your TV partners and find out maybe we should try Prime Video? You know what I mean? There could be options on this.
It is. It just is a little surprising that it's not. It seemed like it was just a mere formality.
It's a mere formality until you start realizing all the layers that are involved in it. I mean, there are a lot of layers involved. And to me, the location layer is a big one. I mean, you need to, to me, you need to put that out for bid. You need to put that out for bid, and I think you try to do everything you can to get it out of the Eastern time zone with the second one, just for national balance.
I just imagine it goes to Vegas.
Todd wants to cover.
Did you see the pictures speaking of that, the pictures of the crowd for the last day of the Big Ten Media Day in Vegas yesterday?
No.
Nobody stayed.
Well, there's a reason. This is something James talked about.
Yeah.
He said, you know what? He said, when we're in Indianapolis or Chicago, the lobby is filled with people looking for autographs of all the players or coaches or whatever. He says it's a buzz all over the place. At Mandalay Bay, they said the place was dead. There was no buzz about the Big Ten. There was nobody in the lobby looking for autographs. There was no,
there's other stuff to do in Vegas.
How dare you?
Hey.
Hey, what other Penn State basketball note? When they put out the numbers yesterday, Mila Tunka's number is 9. Tibor Mirtic is 16. He's on the way.
The Purdy Insurance Agency has been protecting families and businesses of the greater Susquehanna Valley and beyond. With the experience of our trained and knowledgeable staff, you can rest assured that your needs will be evaluated and met by some of the industry's best representatives. No matter what your insurance needs are, call Purdy Insurance today at 570-286-5855. Visit our website at purdyinsurance.com or check us out on Facebook.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
To see what we can do for you.
Your summer just got better with Kia Bonus Cash at Sunbury Motors Kia. Summer is heating up at Sunbury Motors Kia with as much as $2,500 in Kia Finance Bonus Cash. That's what you'll save on the 2025 Kia Sorento. And get 1.9% APR financing for 60 months. The best-selling model at Sunbury Motors Kia, the 2025 Kia Sportage, has $500 off in Kia Finance Bonus Cash and has 1.9% APR financing for 60 months. Tired of going to the gas station all the time? Well, SMC has the 2025 all-wheel drive Kia Sportage Hybrid models available that get 38 mpg. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Save now at Sunbury Motors Kia on the Strip in Hummel's Wharf.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now, from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
All right, this half hour brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, life, business, boat, motorcycle, RV, and yes, Medicare. When I had insurance needs, when I needed the right answers, I went to Purdy Insurance, and Steve Engel was great. Customer service means everything to them. At Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury, go to purdyinsurance.com. All right, so the Phillies popping along. Their starting pitching is, I think, excellent. Zach Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez leading the way. Ranger Suarez. And, that part's fine. And they've got Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, JT, heck of a lineup. The key is the bullpen. The 80-game suspension under the PED policy for Jose Alvarado runs out shortly. He's going to return in August. But he's not eligible for the postseason. Oh. Now, they signed David Robertson, so they brought him back. What's Robertson now, 40?
Or 41, yeah. I think he's supposed to throw 3 or 4 games at Lehigh Valley before he comes up.
So, I think he still has a chance to be effective. And they gave him the equivalent of what would be a $60 million a year deal. I'm sorry, $16 million deal. 16. Obviously he's already, that's 2 months left. So whatever that number works out to be. So what is he getting? Like a little bit more than $5 million, 5.2.
Yeah, and then they're forced to. It's not only that, they're forced to pay a couple million in luxury tax too since they signed him.
And I think they need to get another arm somewhere in that bullpen. Now, how expensive is that arm? If it's Santana from the Pirates, some expense. If it's Bednar, more expense. But you have to look at getting at least, I think, one more arm out in that bullpen because you're not going to have Alvarado in the postseason.
They were talking about Felix Bautista a little bit, too, for the Orioles, but apparently he got put on the DL yesterday.
Who got put in the DL?
Felix Bautista for the Orioles.
Oh, okay, yeah. And he would have been
I think he has 3 years of control, so, yeah, he would have been very expensive.
Very expensive, but maybe very worth it. All right.
Because I think the other two guys, I think it's the two Twins guys, Griffin Jack and somebody else have 2 years of control, and they're good but pricey as well. The time of year when you have to learn AL Central bullpen arms.
Right. Well, exactly. You do have to learn that. Now, the Tigers may need another starting pitcher. Speaking of AL Central, they've got Skubal, who is great. I mean, great. Legitimately. But I think they need another starting pitcher.
Yeah, I didn't realize when I did the baseball roundup last night, that was their 10th loss in 11 games when they lost to the Blue Jays yesterday.
Oh, no. They're not playing well right now.
They are not.
Not in the least. Now we'll get to Matt's favorite topic. No Garrett Cole, no Clark Schmidt. That's damaging.
I mean, I think they need a starter. I also think they kind of need to get out of their own heads a little bit.
No, I think they do need another starter. And they absolutely need a third baseman. I mean, right now they have nothing at third base.
Isn't that where's Chisholm at?
They moved him to second.
Okay, because Chisholm was at third last year.
Oh yeah, and he's not good.
No.
And I'm confused as to why he was in the All-Star game. Totally confused. So I mean, that's what this is where Eugenio Suarez comes in from Arizona. But what do they give up? And they do have a couple of valuable bats in their farm system. The Phillies, I think again need one more arm in the bullpen. I don't think they need to acquire anybody in the offensive part of it.
I did see that there's a little bit out there today about them in on Suarez as well, since Bohm's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. But
yeah,
I mean, and he could be the right-handed bat. I don't know where he goes when Bohm comes back, because I don't think he's much of. I guess he could DH, because I don't think he's I don't think he's ever played outfield. They're also. I was reading something today that they're asking about O'Neal Cruz too. I don't know if I'm the Pirates, if I want to give up on that right at this second.
I don't know. O'Neal Cruz is an interesting player. Ellie De La Cruz for the Reds, I think, is maybe a year or two younger. But O'Neal Cruz, Ellie De La Cruz is what O'Neal Cruz should be. And he's had a long period of time in the majors.
Well, I think if you're an opposing team, you have to figure out if that's him or the Pirates.
Baseball's such an individual. It doesn't affect how he hits because he's got a Pirates jersey on.
The coaching, what they want him to do, what they've taught him.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very good point. Like,
I'd let the Pirates develop my pitchers. I don't know if I'd let the Pirates develop my hitters.
Oh boy, I didn't. Now this is a previous regime. I was not enamored with how the Pirates as an organization handled their pitchers when the Spikes were a Pirates affiliate at all.
Well, they've gone away from the piggyback stuff.
Oh, I know they have, but I'm talking about. No, it was like a whole pitching philosophy as to how you had to do the first pitch, what you had to. It's like, what are you talking about?
I mean, they've done a good job with Skeens. The Chandler kid that's coming is supposed to be real. They've developed. There's the rookie that got hurt. I guess Mitch Keller's not a good example anymore, but.
No, but
I mean, he had his stretches too. Not a lot of them.
But Mitch Keller with a better cast around him might be a better pitcher.
Yeah. And I mean, when they were, that's those 6 weeks at the beginning of last year when they were good, he was pretty good.
Yes, that's right. Now, Josh Naylor was picked up by the Mariners. That was a good move for them. That was a good move. The Mets, well, let's be honest with you. The Mets,
you can stop there. That pretty much sums it up.
I mean, I don't really know what they're going to do.
They got, I think they grabbed the bullpen arm today. They got Gregory Soto. But, yeah, I don't. I feel like if one of the two get hot, the NL East is kind of there for the taking. But I feel like the Phillies have a better chance of getting hot right now than the Mets do.
Well, let me put it this way: you can make a mistake in dealing a prospect. You know how I've said most of the time you get prospects and 90% of the time, oh, you got to be kidding me. Well, the Mets did make one of those where they got burned. Remember that in 2021 they picked up Javi Baez?
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
And they gave up Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yes. You win some, you lose some. That is one they certainly lost.
Oh, no. Like I said, look, the Red Sox dealt Jeff Bagwell, a Double-A player, for Larry Anderson because they thought that left-handed reliever was the last piece to win.
That's immediately what popped in my head when you were talking about that.
You know?
Or flip it. Who'd they send to who'd they get from the Orioles for Brady Anderson?
Mike Boddicker.
That's right.
Yeah, but that was a good trade for the Red Sox. That was because Brady Anderson hit 50 home runs one year.
Yeah.
And you can raise your eyebrows as to how.
Beauty. Handsomeness. I don't believe that.
but Boddicker was a good pickup for the Red Sox. He made complete sense. The Padres will be active. And the Padres are actually considering, believe it or not, trading Dylan Cease. They're considering it. Then there's Toronto. They have older starters. Kevin Gausman's now 34. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chris Bassett's now 36. Okay. And look, they can break through.
They've won 19 of 21.
I know. They've been great.
They are kind of funny because I think people expected this in each of the last 2 years, and they really struggled. And now, of course, nobody expected much out of them this year. And it's funny how that works out sometimes.
Yeah. Then there's the Dodgers. The Dodgers are an odd group. Okay? I mean, their starting rotation in the postseason could be Yamamoto. Okay? It could be Tyler Glasnow. Could be Blake Snell. And it could be Shohei Ohtani. But their bullpen got so much work in the first half of the year, you have to question how much gas is left in the bullpen tank.
Well, Ohtani hasn't thrown more than 2 or 3 innings at a time yet, has he? And if he has, it's only been in the last week. Because they were only using him as an opener. So that doesn't help the bullpen either. It is amazing how much money that team has spent on pitching the last 2 years, and everybody gets broken.
I mean, that's some of the issues.
Yeah.
They have lots of stars. The weird thing is their offense is not as great as people think it is. And by the way, that includes Ohtani. Ohtani's hitting 273, you know. I think everybody thinks he's hitting 333. He's hitting 273.
I think it was the end of... Might have been, it was Sunday. I think there was a stretch on Sunday that he, Betts, and Freeman were 2 of 30-something with 1 homer between them. Yeah, we're talking like this, and we talked like this last summer too, and then they'll figure something out, and they'll be right in the middle of it in October and probably be in the World Series.
Yeah.
Because Snell's on the DL, right? Because I think he is. Snell's on rehab now. I saw Glasnow pitch the other day. I think they're one of those teams with the old market inefficiencies, and there's a reason Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow are good, but on the market it's because they're hurt half the time, as they're finding out.
Right, and that's always been for Tyler. That's always been his. I mean, he pitched with the spikes. That's always been for him. When he rolls, but he does run into the. He does once in a while run into the injury problem, and that's an issue.
I mean, he's got a double whammy. He's a pitcher and he's 6'7". It's hard to get all those levers to work together sometimes.
Yeah, I mean it is. Now, it's going to be an interesting conversation, by the way, with Adam Rittenberg, because we're going to go back to college sports here in a moment. We're not going to talk about the trade deadline.
That'd probably blow his mind, wouldn't it?
Yeah, let's talk about the trade deadline for a moment. Since Adam's more of a Midwest-based guy, so what do you think about the Cubs? Oh, God.
Are you sure you have the right Adam?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. But there you are. All right. So, this half hour brought to you by our good friends at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. You're on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is, because it's Brewers Outlet time. The Beverage Supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
Be a hero with zero at Sunbury Motors Hyundai. With 0% APR financing for 60 months, you can save $8,987 in interest on a 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe with 19 to choose from. And save $9,780 in interest over the term on 2025 Palisades. But you have to act fast. SMC only has 8 remaining. Remember, all new Hyundais come with Hyundai Assurance and are backed by America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Be a hero with zero. Hurry in now and save $9,780 in interest over 5 years on a 2025 Palisade and $8,987 in interest over the 5 years on a 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe. Only at Sunbury Motors Hyundai in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury. Vehicle savings based on finance comparison between 0% and 5.99% APR for 60 months. See dealer for details.